Well, if ever there was a masterpiece out of the Marvel movies, and I would put Iron Man in this category. There's so many lessons to be learned there about the origin story of a superhero. But overall, easily the best movies that the MCU has produced have been the Captain America movies, and of course the absolute best of the Captain America movies, hands down, is Winter Soldier. Now, Winter Soldier is also an excellent template for what they should look to when they consider which they supposedly are right now, their Black Widow movie. And boy, if you could get a trilogy of Black Widow doing Winter Soldier type stories, that would be a force to reckon with. But something's telling me we're not going to get that now. But anyway, yes, Captain America Winter Soldier, and it ties into the story left by Captain America, the First Avenger. So Avengers has happened, and Captain America is basically working for S.H.I.E.L.D., and he's sent on a mission. And here we have a lot of the action, and the pacing is also an excellent thing this movie does, is where you have the story development and character interactions and then action, and it's perfectly paced. You know, you're not lagging too long. There's no amount of time is wasted. It's just so solid and tight. That's really great and quite an achievement. And even now, after Infinity War, I think this is the Russo brothers' best work. But there is a weakness. And so after the rescue, and we get Batroc, obviously not looking like the comic book character, I guess they've thought, hey, come on. He's like the silly Wolverine. We can't do that. But he wears a shirt with the colors, so good enough. So it's all very cool. This Black Ops mission that Cap's on, and he thinks it's a rescue mission. Turns out it's a little more than that, and this pisses him off. Yeah, okay, you know, as Fury says, I didn't lie to you, I just didn't tell you. But then Fury reveals to him they're building a giant fleet of helicarriers, and Cap has a problem with all of this, and Fury says, look, you're a World War II vet. I'm sure you did some things there you're not too proud of, but you knew you had to do it. And he said, yeah, but we were fighting for freedom. This is about fighting for fear, or out of fear, or something like that. And I'm like, it's always fear. That's the first motivation. This is a weakness in Captain America, and it's important because he's Captain America, and it's his motives here that it needed to be something a little more, that they manipulated him into doing something a bit more egregious or something like that. And this follows throughout the movie, where he's anti-S.H.I.E.L.D. And of course, S.H.I.E.L.D., the big reveal in the movie, has been infiltrated by Hydra. Armin Zola has become an AI. And that's all really creepy and good too, when they discover his computers and everything. And it's an algorithm that'll allow them to predict people who could become threats to them, and they're just going to wipe them out, and it's probably going to result in the deaths of probably over 1 million people. And one of the names mentioned is Stephen Strange. So if you were a Marvel fan, you knew what that meant. But so that's the whole plot. Hydra's hatching, and they've infiltrated it, and they're developing the helicarriers, and the carriers are going to go out and kill all these people. So it's got to be stopped. Meanwhile, their super soldier of their own is the Winter Soldier. And who could that be? It's Bucky. Yes, just like out of the comic book. Bucky Barnes was basically the Robin to Captain America's Batman. And then when they brought him back in the 60s and revealed that he had been frozen, that Bucky had died in their last mission, and he stayed dead for decades after that. And then all of a sudden they decided to come up with a story that he had been working for the Russians, and then I guess Hydra too. I can't remember how the comic book story went. But basically, that and of all the characters, except maybe Iron Man, Buck and Black Widow, Bucky really, as the Winter Soldier, looks like the character. I mean, that's pretty much it. You know, he's this guy in black, and he's got long hair and a mask and a metal arm. It's there you go. So he's kind of tailor-made for it. But they managed to do an interesting story there, and he even becomes a successor for Captain America for a while, when it's thought that he died and all this. So So this is taking that material and molding a story into it, and for all this espionage and sort of super spy action type stuff, a step beyond James Bond, of course, here for Captain America. And it's all great, and there's great scenes for everybody to do. Nick Fury gets in some action where Nick Fury has a Batmobile and big chase scenes and all this stuff, and he still gets shot in the back. It's terrible. Sharon Carter is introduced here, and of course she is the granddaughter of Peggy Carter, although that's not really emphasized here, but that's who she was or is. And really, perhaps another weakness, it seemed more logical that a romance could blossom between Captain America and Black Widow more than Sharon, because Sharon didn't give much to do. She's kind of a witness to the story here and there, and then we'll see her later, but there just wasn't enough time in the movies to really credibly develop this relationship. It's kind of just something you have to assume happened off screen. Not as bad as the Hulk and Black Widow romance, which just bam, there it was, so but it's a weakness, but it doesn't drag the movie down, because it's all about the action and mystery concerning the Winter Soldier and the tragedy of it, that it's just this pain thing that happens to Captain America. He's losing faith in the organization he works for. He has to go and watch Peggy die. She's in the throes of dementia. And it's all very sad, and and then now he discovers Bucky's alive after all this time, but now he's been tormented and brainwashed into being this hired assassin, and he's working for Hydra, and it's just, and who knows what all he's done. Oh, yeah, we're gonna find out what he's done. Not in this movie, but it's coming. Oh boy. So, all very good, great on the emotional tempo here and the pacing and whatnot. But again, the arguments that Captain America brings to the table, and ultimately he decides we can't save S.H.I.E.L.D., we need to scrap it too. And his reasoning is, well, Hydra infiltrating is right on your nose. Well, that's right, but what just happened before Captain America Winter Soldier? You got invaded by aliens. Having a fleet of helicarriers would probably come in handy for that. And then meanwhile, it's too powerful and these weapons are done out of fear. Oh, but you're okay with having Iron Man and Thor and unleashing the Hulk on New York to go kill aliens or whatever. It just, come on. Nick Fury is right and Captain America is wrong. Now, you can criticize the methods. You can criticize, take more care and be more aware of this. And Nick Fury, how did you get fooled so easily, seeming? Some of these people you trusted, when you say, oh, yeah, we'll get to the business about trust too. But still, and that, well, hard lesson learned, yeah, but you can't just disarm. And so the idea of taking S.H.I.E.L.D. apart and holding it upside down and shaking all the trash out so you can find out who the Hydra rats are, that's perfectly fine. I can understand that. But the idea that Steve just like he hated everybody, and I don't really buy his argument, and I don't think he was thinking that through. But I guess you could chalk it up that he's in such emotional turmoil over the situation here with Bucky and everything. Yeah, might give him a pass on here, but ultimately, maybe that's just it. It's just an interesting thing. Whose argument do you say? And ultimately, I think Nick Fury was more right than wrong. But, well, there you go. So that might be some interesting things to explore in the Black Widow series as well. But this, I don't think they're going to do it. Anyway, speaking of trust, once again, with the terrible, lazy work done in Captain Marvel with the continuity of the MCU stories, here we have Nick Fury saying the last time he trusted someone, he lost an eye. Well, now we know it was a kitty cat, or a what is it, Frunkin, or whatever, the alien cat. And then we see his eye. It doesn't look like that's what happened to it. At the end of it, they were offering him glass eyes and he just didn't take one. That would suggest that the eye is gone. But no, it's still there. It's just got, it's just severely damaged. It's got this white film over his eye. It's clearly blinded, and there's all kind of scarring and damaging around his eye and all that. Like it's something, something really serious happened. But instead, no, it was an alien kitty cat, and it had some kind of alien germs, and they had to take his eye out. Treated like a little sitcom silly thing at the end there. It's just watching this movie and knowing that that's the story is, oh God. Oof. I can understand him being more of a rookie at that age, but that's unforgivable. Anyway, yes, Winter Soldier, despite the weaknesses here and there, man, was that an enjoyable film, and stands tall as one of the best. Probably right there. I can't decide which is better, Iron Man, because Iron Man is so important because it starts the whole thing off, but also just very good. And so Iron Man and Winter Soldier remain the best and the most excellent of what MCU has produced. And the Captain America movies in total are the best of what they've done. And that stands true to this day, despite a certain movie that retconned everything and just sort of spoiled the batch. What are you going to do? It's the times we live in. Yeah. All right. Thank you for watching and listening. Please like and subscribe. If you didn't like the film, thank you. Anyway, I do appreciate you taking your time to watch. I'll try to do better next time. And for those of you who have subscribed, thank you very much. I do appreciate that. And hey, while you're here, check out that link description below, where you'll find the links to my mini stores that have plenty of goodies